Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into the Might Matter YouTube channel. This video is about towing a boat and trailer from Chicago all the way up to Washington Island in Door County, Wisconsin. It's a pretty heavy trailer, 7,000 pounds, and I wanted to show everyone not only how this truck does, this 2022 Ford Lightning does towing, but also a bit about Door County and a bit of the scenery and why we love Door County so much. As you can see by the map, we've got a pretty long journey by EV towing standards. We've got a trip from around Oak Park, Illinois to Brookfield and then Bolingbrook, Illinois to pick up the truck. And then the long haul starts when we're towing the boat all the way up north to Door County near Northport, Wisconsin, and then across the ferry ride over to Washington Island and the marina there. Should be an interesting trip. I've got some of the charging destinations scoped out from plugshare.com, and we'll play it by ear to some extent, but once you're past Milwaukee, it's almost all Tesla charging. So you got to have a NACS adapter for this tow, at least as of June 2024, and have a Ford vehicle or a Rivian vehicle or a Tesla to use these outlets. If you're doing this later with more vehicles, that's great, but I would not attempt this to Door County towing a boat unless you have some sort of alternative means of charging, because it's going to be pretty tough without Tesla charging. All right, we're already on the road on our journey to Washington Island, and I swear when we left the garage we were at 100%. We've been driving for a little bit. There's an EA station near us, by the way, and we'll be getting to our buddy's house and then the boat pickup. And once we get to the boat pickup at the marina, that will be kind of the start of the towing part of the journey. I'm guessing we'll get there around 90%, we'll see, but let's see how the day goes. So far so good, but it's early yet. We made it to the boat dealership, 91%, I was pretty close in my guess. And now we're here to pick up the boat and say goodbye to 2 miles per kilowatt hour, because it's going to be probably 5 hours actually of way more consumption. I'm curious to see how this thing does. All right, the boat's hooked up. We've got 91% in the battery, and we're headed now from Bolingbrook, Illinois, all the way up to Egg Harbor, Wisconsin tonight, with a few charging stops along the way, of course, that I'll fill you in on as we travel. All right, we left the boat marina in Bolingbrook, Illinois at 91% and made it to the Milwaukee area to charge up. The Greenfield, Wisconsin Meijer has a really good Tesla charger, although it's not necessarily the best setup for trailering, as you'll see. Let's see, what's the least offensive way to plug in? Maybe on the back side.
Yeah, or we could detach either way.
No, we don't. There's no one here. We'll be all right. The least bad way is probably on the back side, actually, which I wonder if they did that on purpose. But I could probably... Oh, they're double. Yes. I'm gonna be a jerk and block it, but there's enough capability here.
What are you gonna do?
I have to block all these lanes so I can...
Why?
Well, for us to have room.
But if someone needed it, we would move.
Yeah. And sometimes I also leave a note on my car that says, you know, if you need...
Call my number.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you just go normally? I don't get it.
Well, honey, we have a trailer. Did you forget we have a trailer, honey?
Oh, yes I did.
Yeah.
Why don't you park facing in the right way, but your boat is turned at a right angle from your
I
car?
have done that before, you're right. Oh, it's already working. That was fast. So 6 kilowatts. It's going to go up higher than that. But
It's 7% right now?
yeah, we came in pretty low, huh?
Whoa.
Hear the fans going? Ooh, 71. Imagine I was using 170 horsepower going up a hill constantly. This is saying it's doing the opposite. It's putting that amount of energy back into the car. The stats for this trip: 98 miles. We got 0.9 miles per kilowatt hour. It's not displayed here for some reason, but it was 0.9. I guess because it's less than 1, does it round down to 0? We had a heck of a headwind. Look at this, 99% of it was driving. 0.9 miles per kilowatt hour and 98 miles, and it took us 2 hours. Yeah, I guess that seems a little slow, but we had some traffic at the beginning, so sounds about right. All right, well, we went into Meijer. I left notes on the doors to say if anyone needs me to move this truck, let me know, because I was blocking like 8 stations
However, on the back side, you can get to them on that side. Anyway, I came back. There was only like 2 or 3 empty spots, and sure enough, it got full where somebody would have had to wait if I didn't move. So we did unhook the trailer, park the truck normally, and now we're gonna finish our charge. We were at 59% when all that happened, and I was like, I could maybe stretch it to the next stop, but why bother? Well, the same thing will probably happen there. So we'll just do a big charge here, and then we'll charge again probably in Manitowoc, Wisconsin at another Tesla charging. In fact, my one chance to not charge on Tesla has already passed. We passed that in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. I prefer Tesla charging because it's usually cheaper and more reliable. But once we get to this point, it's all Tesla charging beyond here as well. So everything will be Tesla from now on, and hopefully not as busy. So hopefully don't have to disconnect next time, but we'll see. Anyway, good charging stop. Meyer is great. These chargers work great. I had a little problem with this one, but I shifted over and my adapter worked fine. It's probably user error, to be honest, but I didn't care about figuring out why, so I just switched chargers and it was fine. So onwards and upwards. Here we go.
Well, here's some clips of the drive. Although this technically happens a little later after the next charge, I wanted to show some of the beautiful spots of this drive. So throughout this portion of the drive at highway speeds with the trailer and a small headwind, I was getting about 0.9 miles per kilowatt hour. I thought maybe we'd get around 1.1 or so, but 0.9 is a little more than half what I would have expected to get in similar conditions, but without the trailer.
All right, we arrived at the Tesla charger at Festival Foods here in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. And you can see here we've got 0.9 miles per kilowatt hour on this stretch for almost 2 hours and 81.9 miles. We're gonna charge up here. You know what, we don't even have to charge here very long. Our next stop will either be Sturgeon Bay if we want, or if we want to skip Sturgeon Bay, we can head right to our hotel in Egg Harbor. So we'll just get a sense of what we want to do in terms of stops between here and Egg Harbor, but I have a feeling we'll just push it and go all the way to Egg Harbor. We'll see.
We drove north to Manitowoc, and that's just before you get to the lake. In Manitowoc, you can decide to take the higher speed, longer distance route to Green Bay on interstates, or take the smaller road, shorter distance route along the lake and 2 rivers, which is more scenic and more beautiful, and also saves a little bit of energy, both due to speed and shorter distance. So we chose the scenic route.
Made it. We're staying at the Landmark Resort in Egg Harbor, Wisconsin. Just like the plug share pictures said, and just like the Airbnb ad said, there is plenty of charging here, which is awesome, and a pretty expansive parking lot, good for boats and big vehicles like ours. So we're gonna drop the trailer here, lock it of course, but it seems like a very secure area, lots of other boats here, and then we'll pull the truck around and get it charging for free overnight. And then dinner and drinks. Thanks for sticking around this long. We're gonna head down to the beach here in a bit, and you'll see us again likely tomorrow morning as we head to the ferry in Northport, Wisconsin, and on to Washington Island. Hey look, another lightning at the resort. Amazingly, he wasn't charging, so he must have a better charging game than I do.
In the morning, we ate at the lovely Big Easy Cafe in downtown Egg Harbor. Not a lot of room for trailers, so we left that at the hotel, but highly recommend this place. It was delicious.
All right, we're on the road again. We're at 100% thanks to the free charging at the Tesla charger at the hotel, and we're headed to the ferry, so I'll update you there.
Whoa, look how beautiful
It is beautiful.
Beautiful!
That's the town of Fish Creek. We're going down to that bay next.
Oh, I did it.
The next portion of our drive is the most scenic of the mainland trip. As you can see, we passed through a ton of small fishing villages and now tourist towns. It's really, really pretty up here in Door County. I highly recommend anyone who hasn't been here before to travel, and like us, once you get here, you'll probably want to come back again and again. The rain was a bit of a downer, but it didn't bother us too much. At least at this point, we were in the truck, and it's just a matter of knocking out the miles. But after about, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes of driving on small back roads, we got closer and closer to the ferry. Along the way, we also saw some sights. For example, this really twisty road that's famous. It's in a lot of postcards and pictures and tourist pictures. I'm told that at some point they actually talked about straightening up this road, I guess to make it safer. But from a tourist perspective, that's probably a terrible idea because it's so popular. So they decided to leave it, which I think is the right call. At this point, we made it to Northport, a very aptly named town in Door County, and this is where you catch the ferry to head to Washington Island, which is the next phase of our trip. Since we were towing a trailer, the gentleman here at the ferry booth measured the length of the trailer, which of course determines the cost of the trailer. We were only going one way with the trailer and then round trip with the truck, so they ended up charging us $116 for 4 people. That's 2 kids, 2 adults, plus the trailer one way and the truck both ways. As it happens, I'm realizing now as I'm editing, we got really lucky. The rain stopped right around the time we got on the boat, so we were able to walk around and explore the Madonna, which was commissioned in 2020. Relatively new boat, actually, and it's powered by twin, I think 1600 horsepower turbo diesels.
That's a smaller ferry, looks like.
As you can see, we had some sister ships of the Madonna traveling back and forth, ferrying people and vehicles across to the different islands as well. If you've ever played the game Stormworks, this area has always had a very Stormworks feel to me. Maritime, and with lots of sea vessels and vehicles, and focus on the terrain and beautiful scenery. And so with our arrival, we disembarked from the Madonna and set out onto Washington Island. At this point, we finally made it to our destination, the marina in Washington, on Washington Island, Wisconsin. The plan was to drop the boat here and then get it ready for a season of boating and use before heading back to the mainland. But as you'll see, it took a little longer than expected.
I think they sold it off, but this is the shipyard marina.
Should we pull into the
And
right?
they have one of those big things. You know, they're pretty flexible. You could.
I'll back in. Well, let's see.
They're pretty flexible. You could just pull up here for right now.
All right.
I'll walk
turn
in
around
and
later.
ask them where they want us to put it. You know, the ramp is a little tricky to get to.
Cool. This one is crazy looking. I've never seen a boat like this before.
I like it.
It looks like something you'd see in Stormworks, eh, Ollie?
It looks like a rescue.
It does.
Oh, that was funny. Was that the dock? That must have been the dock.
That was a dock.
That's a very dad move.
That is cool. That boat's listing a little bit. That red one's... All right, so we delivered the boat to the marina. This was our main goal for the trip. I ended up at 84%. I only used 16% from the hotel to here, which is great. And now we're gonna get a hamburger and some milkshakes and then launch the boat when the weather's a little nicer. Maybe even take it for a spin on the water. Let's see.
All right, for our lunch stop, Bill recommended a hamburger stand kind of at the crossroads of the whole island. It's called the Albatross. You can find it on any online map. It is awesome. I would highly recommend the Albatross, and specifically the Albi burger and the cod sandwich. They were the best sandwiches I've had in over a year, if not longer. The milkshakes were pretty darn good too, so highly recommended this place. Got a great vibe. You can look at this old, looks like logging service operation across the street with some old trucks if you stay on public property and just glance over. But highly recommend this spot.
This cod sandwich is perfect. It's amazing.
If you're interested, you can also take a tour of the island on I think it's called the Cherry train. You can see here. It takes you around with narration and tells you a bit about the history of the island and some of the major sites along the way. So with that, we set back out past the old potato farm and looks like some logging operations back to the marina. As you can see, the weather has dramatically changed. Beautiful blue skies, awesome boating weather, and we went back to see if the marina was ready for us at this point to launch the boat. Well, next you'll see us backing the boat up and getting it launched into the water. Finally, this weather is perfect for boating. At least it was for a few minutes, and we were able to get the boat launched. We pulled it over to the floating dock, got it all ready for some boating, and went out. You'll see later a storm comes up. We saw it when we were leaving. We knew it was going to be a short ride anyway, both because we had to make the last ferry off the island, but also because we saw the squalls coming. But we wanted to get a little bit of a test run into the boat before we battened it down and left it on the island there. But it was a fantastic ride and well worth the trip. This whole trip was just awesome. We even managed to find a couple of fish swimming around. I don't think you can fish here. It's a private marina, but nice to see that fish already this size are available this close to shore. Well, as you can see, we had a beautiful and scenic and successful ferry trip back from Washington Island to the mainland. We drove back south again through Door County, back through Wisconsin and Two Rivers, and so on the same route as we did on the route north. We stopped at the same festival foods in Manitowoc to supercharge on the Tesla charging before making it back from there in one single charge to Chicagoland. I did charge for free at the Village Hall charging station. In fact, you can see all the stats for the entire trip in regards to charging and mileage on the screen right now. Thanks for watching this video and sticking around this long. Subscribe for more videos like this regarding EVs, power sports, my old Honda dirt bikes, boating, adventures and trips and things like that. And we'll see y'all real soon.